So with some experience of crew, which I hope you've gained by now, we can start to analyse the production and what our own production needs are. So in terms of, if we take a scene, we can try and figure out what that scene consists of in terms of the staffing behind the scene, and also how the crew work together and in what elements of production and the production process does each role take precedent, or in which part of the production is each role more important. So, as we talked about in the seminar, the short film About a Girl, once we broke that down, we realised that even though it seemed a quite straightforward film, the locations might have been a problem, the cold and child actors might have been a problem, the amount of crew using 35mm cameras might have been a problem, even health and safety could have been a problem issue. So the crew built up to quite a large crew very quickly. So if we think about our own production needs and our own films, where are these going to be based, what's the location, is it a complex setup, so are you working towards a specific genre or style? For instance, if it's film noir, think about how are you going to light those scenes, which will be different than conventional lighting. How are you going to address the props and costumes which are specific to that genre. What's the directorial style, which will also be specific to that genre. So in terms of a crew, we've got our crew already on hand and set up in terms of your small group, but the research that needs to go into each crew role to figure out what the story is you're trying to tell, what the genre is within that story, and how to best serve that genre. There's traditions of filmmaking gone by over the last 120, close to the last 120 years, which has defined genres and defined traditions in filmmaking, and created rules for filmmaking, rules in terms of storytelling, but rules in terms of production structure. Again, it's possible to break these rules, but at this stage, we're working at very much an amateur beginner's level, and we want to work through the work, figure out what these rules are before we go ahead and break them. Again, in upcoming weeks, we'll talk about certain rules, such as the 180-degree rule, the 30-degree rule, and we'll talk about how to break these rules in terms of cinematic style. With your films, you really need to start thinking about who will be the producer, who will be the director, who will be the camera operator, who will be the sound recordist, and even though you've got these roles, hopefully already pinned down in your group, you need to maybe readdress this and figure out in your group what your specific skills are and what the skill set of your group is, and then also, assessing your script, assessing your idea, and thinking, what other members of the crew might you need outside this. So I can guarantee that people will need more than 3 people in terms of you will need someone to work continuity, someone in terms of script supervision, which means logging and taking time code off the camera, which is all set up for the editor in the final process, and then you might need someone to record sound, mix sound. All these roles will continue to build up and up and up